All right, everybody, here we are with chapter 10, the last chapter in the book, but not the end of our work, because after this chapter, we'll do we're going to learn a little bit about QuickBooks certification, and we'll also finish up or do the second half of that midterm project, and then we'll have a final project as well. So we'll actually get to use it in a more, I guess, a little, it's like an extended case problem. Anyway, so chapter 10 covers the creation of financial statements and things like that. And so it'll be relatively easy, I think, because we've already used reports a number of times before. So I'm just going to jump in on the first page after the overview that says income statement. And it says to create a profit and loss report for the Wildwater Sports Company. So recognize that an income statement and a profit and loss report's the same thing. Those are two different names for essentially the same thing. So step one says open your internet browser. So, okay, I'm already there. I've opened my Wildwater Sports Company. And step three is go to reports and then click on reports. So there's all my ones I've already created in the past. I'm going to go to the standard reports tab and I'm going to search for profit and loss. And then we're going to click on profit and loss. And we're going to choose, so that was step four. And step five, I'm going to put in the dates 1/1/27 to 1/31/27. You'll see it automatically changed to custom. Um, and then we're going to click run report. So this will give us a summary, a profit and loss or an income statement. Um, Summarizes our income or revenues and expenses. So you'll see it should look something like what we have on screen here. If you kept your numbers, with the trial balances all along, then the numbers should match exactly. A couple of features. If we click um, collapse here, it will take out some of those extra detail line items. So it's a little bit shorter and easier to look at. And then they also want to show us like step 7, that if we click on an amount in there, so like the sales, it will just take us to a transaction report for the sales. And then if we wanted to, we could even like go to performance rentals, click on that, and it would take us to the actual transaction where we sold stuff to them. So again, I think they're just trying to show us um, that from these reports we can click through, or sometimes you'll hear people call it drill down and see further reports. So from the income statement, we could go to the transaction report. Um, and then from there, we could go to the actual transactions if we wanted to. So step 9, we clicked X to get out of the transaction or to get out of the actual transaction. And now we're going to click back to summary report to get out of the transaction report. They're showing us a few other features here. So if we look at the drop down arrow for the rows and columns, let's see. Sorry, I'm not seeing what they're telling me to look for. That's export. Sort. Let's see. Click the drop down arrow in the rows/columns title. I'm probably just missing something obvious. Sorry, guys. You're probably seeing it, and I am probably somehow not. I'm just missing it or something. Um, Give me a second and I will find it. All right, I did find it. Apparently, it's just either as a change or like my brain just went out, but it's under this label compare another period. And we're not really comparing another period. We're just, so here it is, hit percentage of uh, income. And then, so we did that. And then we're going to hit customize. And it wants us to check without cents. And then we'll hit run report. And so all this is showing us is if we want, we can add a column to where it takes all of these, the total income, and makes that the base or 100%, and then breaks down our expenses as a percent to income. It's actually pretty interesting because it helps you zone in really quick. Like your cost of goods sold is 39% of your income. That's your biggest expense by far. Um, so sorry, the little hang up there. I don't know if they changed the name of this title because we're not comparing to another period. We're comparing against itself. And so maybe they just put it into the compare another period. Um, anyway, so there it is. I apologize for the little pause there. Um, all right. We're going to click save customization so that we can use this report whenever we want to. We're going to type profit and loss custom and click save. So now we have another saved report. They're showing us that if we want, we can export this to Excel. It will bring up an Excel file. And I'll open it and show you. It's loading on my other screen here. So that's what it just opened up. And you can see there's a real issue when we export to Excel where if you don't if you don't enable editing, it shows up as all zeros. And so sometimes when people try to submit it, they'll be like, oh, it's all zeros. So I had to hit enable edit and then it brings up the numbers. And so what's cool about having it in Excel um, is you can manipulate the data in here if you needed to. And it doesn't just give it to you as the numbers, it actually sends it over with the formulas in it and everything. So that's a pretty cool tool. Um, so that was step 17. They have you save it. That is showing you that you can do the Excel file and all that. So that's the end of that page or that section of the book. So I'm going to go forward to the balance sheet. So to create a balance sheet, step one is to continue from where you left off, which we're doing. Step two is to go to reports. Step three, we'll type balance sheet. You can also see it's right here in the favorites. So we could type it. I'm just going to click it here. We're going to change our dates. 1/1/27, 1/31/27. And then we're going to click run report. It'll show us our balance sheet. We can, again, we have the full like stretched out one, or we can hit collapse, and that will actually make it a little bit shorter and easier to look at. And there's our balance sheet. Remember, a balance sheet summarizes our assets and our liability and equity. And our assets, what the business owns, should match our liabilities plus our equity. Since everything the business owns is either paid for through debt or through the equity, which is through the owners. So in this case, we can see our total liabilities are 427,000 and our total equity is 396,000. They're directing us in step 4 to go up to accounts receivable and see that it's 127,770. And again, we can pull up a transaction report. It says to click on the minus 70,000 payment from Refugio, which again will just take us to the transaction itself. So again, showing you that from any of these reports, you can drill down and see additional information. We'll click X. This is step 7 to get out of the transaction report and back to report summary to take us back to our balance sheet. We're going to customize this. We're going to do this without cents. Step 9. And then here under rows and columns, we're going to do the drop down. Let's see, click and then click the change columns text. Here we can do check percent of the column. So that's what we're going to do. That's step 11. Then we'll hit run report. I don't know why it's not showing us the percent. Let me see here, customize percent of column. So that's a little weird. It's not showing us the thing that we just, maybe if we expand it, no. Go to customize. I will uncheck, recheck, hit run report. Still not doing it. Am I not telling it? Maybe I did something weird. Click the rows columns drop down arrow, then click the change columns text. Check the percent of column text checkbox. Okay, guys. Well, I feel like I've been not batting a real high batting average on this chapter, but I also feel like I'm not sure what to do because it doesn't seem to be working. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong or if it's just being dumb. I would say it's more likely me because I know me. All right, I'm going to see if I can pause this for a minute and figure out what's going on. Okay, so I've played with it quite a bit. I can't tell what the heck's going on with this thing. I'm actually going to go back to my report list, look up my balance sheet, pull it up, put the right dates in there. I will run my report. I'll try one more time. It did it. Okay. So I don't know what happened. I guess when in doubt, rerun the report. Um, that was just silly. So sorry about that. Oh yeah, I didn't want us to do it without sense too. I was also going to show you can do the same thing. Like you can also make edits sometimes to the different things up here. But customize will take you, we'll do without zeros, hit run report. Yeah, then it will just get rid of our zeros for us. All right. We'll save our customization. Man, sorry about all that. So balance sheet, custom, hit save. And then again, we can export it to Excel if we want to. So that's step 16. This button exports, export to Excel. We open it in Excel. And you're going to do it. It's going really slow. All right. And I'll show you what happens. So I brought it up and it looks like this. And so it's got all zeros. Once I hit enable editing, then it has it in there. So that's a pretty nice tool to be able to export to Excel. And again, we can mess with it. There's some several steps in here to mess with it in Excel if you want to. But I'm going to move on to the statement of cash flows. So again, go to reports, type in cash flow, statement of cash flows. We'll put in our dates. I guess I could just do this instead of typing that all out each time. Let's see. We'll click run report. This is step 4 of the statement of cash flows page. Sorry if I got ahead of myself there. Again, we can see all that information in there. Again, we can click through. Step 5 is to go to common stock. Click on the 10,000. We can see that that came from WB Investments. If we want, we can click on that and it'll take us through to the transaction. Again, that's just something they're showing us we can do with it. Everything's running slow today. Super slow, apparently. I might be clicking too much. I'm going to just freeze this whole thing up. Again, I think I'll pause this while I'm waiting for this thing to load so you don't have to sit and watch it. All right, I finally got it back. So it took a little while. It took a couple minutes actually. So I don't know if the server was down or was having issues, but there we are. I'm back to my statement of cash flows. Step 7 is they want us to return back to it. That's what we just did. Step 8 is customize. They like to do it without cents, no pennies for them. Run report, just gets rid of the pennies. Um, our adjustments to reconcile. It is showing us that we can collapse and see more detail or less detail in these sections. So like here's our adjustments to reconcile net income to net cash. We could collapse that if we want and just show the number, or we can expand it to show all the detail. That's what they're trying to show us in step 11. We're going to say save customization. We're going to call it statement of cash flows custom. And we're going to hit save. All right. We're going to go to the next page in the book, and we're going to do an accounts receivable aging summary. This can just be really valuable to get a sense of who owes you what and how long they've owed it to you for. So step 1 is continue where you left off. Step 2 is go to reports. We'll type accounts receivable, or at least accounts with a S maybe. There's accounts receivable aging summary. Change the date, 1/31/2027. And then we'll click run report. We'll see that the Florida Ski School owes us money and the Performance Rentals owes us money. They're both current, meaning they're not past due. If anybody was past due, it would be out here, 1 to 30 days past due, 31 to 60, etc. Again, if we wanted to, we can click on an amount. That'll take us to the detail, and then we could click on that in the detail report, and it would take us to the invoice. That's step 4 and step 5. We have that there in the invoice. We will exit out of the invoice, and then we'll go back to report summary. And that's it for the accounts receivable. I'm going to go to the next page. We can create an accounts payable aging summary, same idea, but now we're seeing who we owe and how long we've owed them for. So again, you guessed it, reports. We'll type in accounts payable aging summary, change our date, 1/31/27, and we'll run the report. And again, you can see the list of all the people we owe. In our case, it's all current, meaning nothing is past due. And again, we can drill down if we want to see like the Geek Squad thing. And we can even drill down deeper and see the actual bill. So same idea. We'll exit out of that. Go back to the report summary. And we'll go to the next page in the textbook, an inventory valuation summary. I bet you know how to get to it. We'll go to reports. We'll type inventory. We'll run the inventory valuation summary. We'll put the date we want as of 1/31, 27. We'll run the report. It'll show us all of our inventory that we have and the value, meaning really in our case, the cost. Tells us we can drill down if we look at the number of the wake accessory package. It'll give us a valuation detail report. And again, if we wanted to, we could click on the bill here and it would take us to the bill. So, and so as you can imagine, there's even more reports than this. So many different reports that you could use in QuickBooks. And what matters is that you use the ones that work for you and that will help your business. When you take accounting class, they teach you how to do all these reports by hand. But in real life, if our data is correct in our system, then we're going to be able to run the reports and they're all going to be good. So that's the end of the chapter. Sorry for the couple hangups there. I don't know if they had made little changes to the software or if it was glitching or if I just made a mistake and somehow missed it along the way. I know that happens for all of us. Anyway, I hope, again, as always, I hope this is helpful and I hope you have a great week.